The IMF says its budget position is the second best in the world. Ross Greenwood joins me now. Ross?
Well, it is, and he's certainly the best at where it's working there, right? So it's a good thing. Now, this is actually pretty important for the government because it has tried to really trade upon its economic credentials since Jim Chalmers, Katie Gallagher have been the Treasurer and Finance Minister, because it takes away from the coalition one of their key arguments that they will manage the economy better than what the Labor Party will. So the surplus in the last budget that was forecast and has come to fruition is important for the ALP, as is now even Jim Chalmers from the statement today saying that they're on track for a second surplus in the budget when it's handed down in the second week of May. But the one issue about this as well is it's about how the government has actually created these surpluses. The money that's coming in is because of the very, very strong rate of employment in Australia. It also means that the government is getting more income from that, and the fact that also that commodity prices have not fallen away in the way in which the government had previously expected. But, you know, broadly, it's good news. It means the government doesn't have as much debt as it otherwise would have and doesn't have to pay as much interest as what it otherwise would have. Its problems are ahead with the key spending areas in defence and trying to fix the NDIS that are very well known.
Yes, they are. The economic levers get another test today. The latest unemployment rate comes out in around, an hour's time, and this will help determine if there's an interest rate cut this year or not.
It really does, because, look, the last unemployment number that came in at 3.7% was much, much stronger than anticipated, and many economists have dismissed that. The one today is expected to be at 3.9%. Now, anything that's around 3.9% or lower, you can literally put down your cards and suggest there will not be rate rises here this year, rate cuts rather. But the fact of the matter is that if it comes at 3.9% or higher, and these numbers are really jumping around at the moment, it's going back onto more the track that the Reserve Bank and the government are anticipating unemployment to be. So the reality is, if you're cheering for a rate cut at the moment, you're probably also cheering for somebody else to lose their job, which is probably a bit of perverse sort of justice in some ways.
Yeah, that's a tough one. On the subject of unemployment, hundreds of workers at, is it Qenos? Qenos, which makes key plastics, are in doubt as the company has collapsed into administration.
Yeah, so Qenos is really one of the key companies in Australia. So we talk about strategic importance in Australia. The one thing that's strategically important, I would think, are the pipes that actually carry your water and carry your sewage. Now, do you really want to be capable of making those yourself? Well, the core ingredient for that is either ethylene or polyethylene. The one company that makes that is Qenos, and Qenos does it in Botany and also does it in Altona. A property developer's bought it off a Chinese owner previously. The thing's been losing money. The Botany plant has been closed. And of course, many in those areas, the Greens in particular, are pleased to have a plastics plant close in Australia. The real problem is that in terms of national capability, when the government's all about trying to get manufacturing for the future in Australia, this is one of them. And the reality is that there's been nobody from government stick their head up to say what they're going to do about Qenos. But somebody who has stuck their head up is the boss of the AWU in Australia, Paul Farrow. Just have a quick look at this, because what he's basically saying is the Albanese's Future Made in Australia program is an excellent program that we support, right? So that was announced last week. But if Australia wants to be a manufacturing powerhouse tomorrow, we can't allow our established manufacturing base to basically effectively to collapse today. And that is precisely talking about the collapse of Qenos into administration.